Welcome to episode 2 of From GB with Love. I'm Christian, reporting for WORLDwrite.
And we produced a short video in support of Ukraine's fight for sovereignty and freedom. There are people the world over doing what they can. But is it enough?
And here's what our volunteers in the UK and Poland, members of the public in East London, and people we have interviewed have to say.
My name is Jason, I'm a current student and I was born here in London.
Do you think it's important to support Ukraine?
Yes, I do. I think whenever people in power choose to use their power against people that are in an oppressed group, I think everyone should come together and show unity in that area. I think right now Ukraine is what should be the main topic. I feel like everyone should find a way. If you're seeing this video, then you might be able to find a way to actually do something practical to support the situation.
Do you think the British government is doing enough?
I think it's difficult to say because I think the media they show the people selective things. So I don't know if they're going to show what they're doing behind the scenes, whether it's good or bad, but I just feel like maybe if we can do more campaigns like this and speak more, then we can maybe push them to make a decision that the people want, which is more important.
And do you think there is too much gore in the media at the moment?
Yeah, and the thing with gore is it can turn into more like a pity fest than actually like wanting to actually help.
Do you have a message of solidarity for Ukraine?
Yeah, I want to say keep strong. I know obviously I'm not there, so I can't actually know what you're going through, but just keep strong and hopefully we can all get through this together.
My name's Tara, I'm 19. I currently live in London, but I'm from the Midlands and I'm a student right now. I definitely think it's important to support Ukraine. I think that when something like this is happening, where Russia is taking away Ukraine's right to be their own country, be their own state, I think it's really important that the whole world should rally round and support them, because it means a lot for human beings around the world, not just in Ukraine. So I really think that everybody should come together and show their solidarity, definitely.
I hope that it's all over really soon and that more people do step in and help, and that Russia is out of there ASAP, really. It's horrendous.
What would you consider doing more? Like, what would you consider in that term?
I think, to be honest, it's got to a point where we need to send some forces there, and also like Priti Patel not letting anyone in, like horrendous. Like we need to be letting refugees in ASAP, like now.
Would you like to say a solidarity message for Ukraine finally?
We're all behind you, we're all thinking of you, and in my heart you're welcome here whenever you want.
The reason Putin's been able to get away with this is because time over he's taken what he wanted, because people are afraid of what he might do. And I think that has led him to believe that he can take Ukraine. So I think it's probably time to intervene, but it's obviously an incredibly terrifying place to be in.
I just don't feel that we hear enough about the resistance, because nobody in the media wants to talk about it, because it doesn't suit their narrative, for one, and two, it doesn't get them the ratings. I sometimes coin the term pity porn, because for some reason, because they're always showing the pictures of the people, the casualties, but they don't see enough of the resistance. Mass destruction makes good box office. Its aftermath less so.
Do you think we should take sides in the Ukraine against Putin and his invasion?
Absolutely. I think whenever injustice appears in the world, the court of public opinion should make itself heard to show that they condemn, oppression and tyranny.
What do you think about the Western media focusing on pity and the plight of civilians?
That's just mainstream media doing what it always does. That's the angle that they like to take, because people like to express pity more than they do support for, marginalized groups and their fight for, equality and freedom, for their own sovereignty. And at this point in time, I think people have too much access to different forms of information to be able to feign ignorance, or just, simply continue taking what the mainstream media says as gospel.
Yeah, I definitely think that the media is focusing way too much on the pity angle, sort of posting the worst possible images they can of the most devastating things, which of course is horrible, but these are people, these are real people. They don't need pity, they need solidarity.
I think it's easier to focus on the suffering. I think kind of from a media perspective, like it's what draws a lot more people to it. It's very easy to get behind people who are suffering as opposed to actively supporting those that are resisting. I think it might be a bit of a pity fest. I do think you don't really get to see the resistance, because I think there's a side to it that is more aggressive than I think the media is willing to see and show. I think everyone needs to take the side of the Ukrainians. I think you're wrong not to, and it's incredibly important to support them as much as you can.
On the news in the UK, I know you see a lot of images from the war, of the horror, and it is horrific for us too. To see our friends, family, and fellow Ukrainians facing the brutality of Russian war machine. But even as refugees, we are not just passive victims. We are trying to do all we can to help Ukrainian win this war. For us, that is what solidarity means.
Hi, we are here at the Polish-Belarusian borders reporting for WORLDwrite. People have gathered to stop Russian trucks from crossing the EU border. This way, protesters want to block any economic relationship with aggressive state to stop this war.
Деякі країни вводять ембарго на торгівлю з агресором, а деякі країни просто продовжують співпрацювати і заробляти на війні. В той час, коли в Україні і досі продовжують скидати бомби і вбивати мирних мешканців, жінок і дітей. Це не є правильно. Це злочин.
Я дуже прошу всіх українців розрізняти режим Лукашенка і білорусів, які пасивно погоджуються з тим, що на наші країни летять бомби, і білорусів, які борються, які сидять за ґратами, і білорусів, які теж стали політичними в'язнями, біженцями. І ці білоруси, які також борються з режимом Лукашенка.
З часу Другої отечественной війни білоруси, як і українці, це партизани. 20 лютого, февраля, Беларусь знаходиться під окупацією російських войск. Вони прибыли, кажуть, на учення, засталися. Зараз ви ведаєте, що відбувається з цими військами. Тому білоруси роблять, що можуть. І вони знищають комп'ютерні шкафи, які висять і відказують за движення техніків. Вот.
Ресурсы в России точно закончатся, и они уже заканчиваются, да, и мне кажется, это просто вопрос времени. Желание что-то, да, закрыть границу и предотвратить торговлю ЕС с Беларусью и Россией.
Я тут надовго додав собі слово повільно, але зробить це на совість, музика, йога, любов.
Нам вдалося утворити чергу на 50 кілометрів, і це кілька тижнів. Звичайно, хотіла...
Не забуває, сидячи дупою на дивані, про то, кожен має свою роль, так? І просто той шустрий має підняти тих мудрих, а той мудрий має, так, головне не забувати і не зупиняти.
Мені здається, що треба і без дозволу виходити.
Сід, брат, сват, які знаходяться зараз в Україні. Вони зараз сидять в підвалі, вони не мають що їсти. В них зав'язані руки, можна сказати, в прямому сенсі. В стані їх забезпечити, в стані допомогти і щось зробити.
My name's Anton. I'm a project manager and I come from South Africa.
Do you have a message of support for Ukrainian people?
Yes, we're all behind you. Keep fighting for your country. Fight what you believe in and stand up for yourselves. And good luck.
I'm in two minds as to the extent to which we should keep supporting them to fight if we're not going to do any more, given the fatalities that they're suffering.
I think definitely if our government did more to support them and other governments did more to support them, then maybe they could win. But at the moment, you know, it's really difficult, especially if we're not helping and doing enough.
Well, I don't seriously think it's sanctioned the oligarchs. No, I think they, like everything else this government does, I think they're satisfied with the headlines and then they do jack shit.
Yeah, I mean, we have to stand with them as our European brothers, as part of the human population. I absolutely stand with them, and it's just appalling and catastrophic what's happening.
Do you think our government is doing enough?
No. In a simple word, they are not doing enough. We need to do more. We should be. I believe we should be in there fighting. I believe that it is worth fighting for.
Таня.
Откуда вы?
Я из Беларуси, из Минска. Вот, и тоже, можно сказать, убежала от войны и каких-то последствий возможных, которые могут быть в наших странах. Но после того, как началась война, и когда я поняла, что Лукашенко имеет к этому отношение достаточно прямое, то мне уже стало совсем плохо и противно находиться в стране, где еще я, в каком-то смысле все равно косвенно поддерживаю государство-агрессор. Но это очень больно, это непонятно абсолютно, потому что для меня, Россия, Украина, Беларусь всегда были такие страны, которые там друзья, знакомые, то есть все очень сильно связано, и никогда не могла себе представить, что может быть военный конфликт или война между нашими странами. Даже никак не могла себе такое представить, поэтому больше был шок, ступор белорусскому государству, которое поддерживает, если с точки зрения...
Были митинги. Что вы о них думаете? Протесты против?
Здорово, что люди выходили и делали, что могли, их паковали там всех тоже, и там тоже закрывают независимые СМИ. То же самый такой очень похожий на ситуацию в Беларуси сценарий, когда закрываются постепенно общественные организации, независимые СМИ, подавляется свобода слова, людей репрессируют. Все тоже очень похоже в таких больших масштабах, мне кажется, в России сейчас это запустилось. Белорусы бы хотели пойти на войну, и очень много каких-то антивоенных акций делается, в том числе на территории Беларуси, чтобы военные не пошли, чтобы отказывались, чтобы сдавали оружие, даже если у них будет такой приказ. А что там придумает, я уже теперь ничего не удивлюсь, если Лукашенко еще скажет идти воевать. Мне кажется, что это все может быть, потому что никто не ожидал, что Путин начнет войну. И сейчас уже неизвестно, что ждать, что от Путина, что от Лукашенко. Я бы сказала, что я восхищаюсь вами и вашей смелостью, и тем, как вы до последнего сражаетесь в вашей стране. Этого, возможно, такого не хватает белорусам нам, но у нас только все это зарождается, и будем надеяться, что мир поменяется в лучшую сторону, и скоро это все закончится.
My name is Francesca. I run a bakery and I come from Devon in the southwest of England. I'm just horrified, really. I'm a mum of 3 young children, and I think you can't not be moved seeing the kind of images we're seeing. I really thought, if it was based on bravery alone, what they're doing to protect themselves and their country is incredible. But I think the more it goes on, the angrier Russia and Putin gets, and they start to be even more destructive. And I think now it's gotten to the point where they just can't compete in terms of arms. And this shelling that keeps happening, cities are destroyed. People have got nowhere to go. People have got no food, no water. I just don't see how they can come out of this now.
And do you think our government in UK is doing enough about the situation?
No. I'm quite embarrassed about what our government's doing. I appreciate that people have the fear of World War III hanging over them and nuclear weaponry and how crazy Putin is. We just don't know. I think he's probably very crazy. But, what are we doing? We're hardly bringing any Ukrainians into the country. There hardly been any visas given. I think there are clearly so many people that are willing to take Ukrainians in and give them a home and try and help them recover from what they've experienced. But I don't think the government's supporting this. And so, no, I think, honestly, it's absolutely appalling. There needs to be bigger, powerful people involved to actually make some tough decisions. But yeah, I'm so sorry, and you're so brave, and I wish we could do more.
I think it's important to support the Ukraine because we live in a country that believes in democracy, self-determination, and sovereignty, and we believe that other countries shouldn't interfere in our processes. So as a democracy, as a self-governing country, as a nation state, then we should support other countries who also have a similar ideology and belief to us. Yeah, I think that it's good that people are showing support for Ukraine, but I think that the support has to be more tangible, and it's nice to see people maybe putting a Ukraine flag in their Twitter bio, but the support shouldn't stop there. That shouldn't be enough to give yourself a pat on the back and forget about the issue. It should then continue on, and maybe we can think about more tangible ways to offer help.
Do you have a message of solidarity that you'd like to give to the Ukrainians?
Go Ukraine, solidarity with Ukraine. Fuck totalitarianism.
I know that Russian is intimidating, is try always to scare the NATO, Europe, Britain, but maybe we can do more because these people are literally dying, so we should help them. And I think that Russia is not gonna take action, real actions against Europe and Ukraine, UK or I mean NATO, the NATO, the countries that are part of the NATO, just because they are really strong together. So I think that they are just continuing to do these things to the Ukraine because we are not really stopping them. We put many sanctions on them, on Russia, but maybe we can do more. I don't think that Russia will take. Will do something against the NATO country. So yeah, we can do more.
Hi, I'm Carolina. I am from Brazil and I'm currently a bartender. Well, I think they need any help they can get, even if it's for donations or just media attention, because what's happening to them is unfair. Like, they're just protecting their territory. Yes, they're putting up a hell of a fight so far, and I hope they win. They're getting a lot of support from other countries, so hopefully they win. I hope they will.
Hi, I'm Matthew, originally from the Northwest, now I live in London and I'm a lawyer. It's an abhorrent thing that's happening. There should be no ongoing conflicts in this day and age, but there definitely shouldn't be military aggression invading into sovereign states. And the UK should be doing more, and it isn't. And quite frankly, it should be a point of national embarrassment that we aren't doing more to support. And I hope that the conflict is resolved as quickly as possible and that Ukraine keeps all of its sovereignty and all of its land, and that the people are as safe as they can be, and that no more innocent lives are lost.
My name is Bolisar, and I'm filmmaker, and I'm from Hungary. Well, I mean, for me, it's very obvious. It's a horrible atrocity, and I mean, the whole world should stand up against this kind of aggression, in my opinion. We all like amazed by the bravery of the people, and it's a very good fight.
My name's Tom. I work in public relations and public affairs in London. Yeah.
What do you think about the Ukrainian resistance right now? Do you think that they can win? Do you support their fight?
Yeah, I 100% support Ukraine. I think Vladimir Putin's unhinged. I think that the Ukrainian resistance is amazing. I've become kind of like obsessed by watching videos on Twitter, sort of on the ground. I think they can win. I don't know enough about Russia's tactics, though, to be honest. It kind of feels a bit like they might be just regrouping to do something else. Obviously, they've used chemical weapons before in places like Syria, which is terrible. But yeah, I mean, I'm fully in support of Ukraine. I'm fully in support of people going over there to support them. I think what they're doing is amazing. I think what Russia's doing is terrible. And I think it needs to be taken more seriously. I know they're talking about war crimes and stuff like that, but, you know, it's a really terrible conflict. It's completely unprovoked, and yeah, more power to them, I guess.
My name is Joseph. I'm from England and I'm a pharmacist. No country has a right to invade another country. Okay? And if Russia allowed Ukraine to be independent of USSR, that means an independent country. They have no right to invade that. We need to do everything to help, first and foremost, Ukraine militarily. Equip them, because all they are doing, they are defending, but they need to offend. They need offensive weapons. That's the only way to stop them. Defending themselves is not good because they have nothing to do. They can't do anything in the air. Okay? So they need to offend Russia. The best way to defend yourself is to offend. If Russia has initiated the war, then Ukraine should be armed to fight back. Okay? That's the only way to stop it. You use might to stop might, not worse. Putin is just threatening people. He's just being a bully. If NATO was there in the air, there's no way I believe Russia would have tried invading Ukraine, because there are so many countries in NATO. Russia will not be able to fight about 30 countries at the same time. Impossible. Okay, so I wish somebody would assassinate him, actually. Okay, and the world will be a peaceful place. Because if it was Hitler at this time doing it, somebody would have tried to assassinate Hitler. Politics hasn't worked, and it's not going to work. You only do politics after the war is over, but not when the war is on. If the war is on, arm him to fight.
This brutal invasion should be stopped.